Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. With the Ward Theatre in disrepair, efforts are being intensified to restore and preserve the Little Theatre. And as you'll hear in this report, while the restoration work has started, there is some way to go as corporate support is critical. On 4 Tom Redcombe Drive, a cultural landmark still stands, but time has not been kind. When the curtains fell at the Ward Theatre in downtown Kingston, the Little Theatre became home to the nation's finest in the performing arts. This was the vision of the founders of the Little Theatre movement, Greta and Henry Fowler. Their vision displayed boldly in the lobby. Words fading, but the message clear. We visited the theatre on a recent Sunday. The actors participating in the annual pantomime Yard Vibes were getting ready to hit the stage. Then it was showtime. The show was barely 15 minutes in, and we couldn't help but notice patrons fanning away. We later learned the central AC unit has been malfunctioning for years. It's over 35 years old, and the replacement parts are no longer being manufactured. And that's not all.
In terms of the technology in this space, there is no technology in this space. This is an analog theatre. There's an analog soundboard, there's an analog lighting board, and everything is done manually. So, for example, if you are renting this theatre and you need certain lights, you have to rent a lighting board, and you have to rent a soundboard, and you have to bring in Lecos. So we have to take Lecos from Main Event, from Starlight, from Phase 3, from anybody that who have lights, and that is how it has been. So you're literally renting a theatre in the theatre.
Marissa Benain is the new executive director of the Little Theatre Movement Foundation. She's the force behind the theatre's modernization project. We asked how much it would take.
We're not asking for money, we're asking for specific things. Because, I'm very hesitant in saying, okay, I need $100 million to do this. I'm not going to say that. But what I do have, I have a listing of all the equipment that we need. I have a price for every single item that we need. For example, we need a sound system, and that may run us about $2.2 million.
US.
Jamaican. Yes, Jamaican. Yes. And so when you itemize things and you have a list, if you want to buy us a digital lighting board, this is what it will cost. And so if you want to contribute, you're contributing to something very specific.
And it's where donors like Alison Tuller, managing director of Garrett Trading and Installation Limited, has come in. Her project, the male and female bathrooms, now complete. It went from this to this.
I would have come for dance rehearsals, but just to drop off and pick up, but not to really walk in and see the deplorable state the facility was in. We gutted everything. We did the plumbing, the electrical, the mirrors. When I said gut everything, we literally cleaned them out. The only thing we're waiting now on is to have the doors leading into them changed.
Support too from overseas. Anthony McDonald is the executive director of the Schubert Theatre in New Haven, Connecticut. What he gave.
Soft goods is kind of actually what's on our stage right now. So it's the legs, like the black curtains on the side of the stage. It sometimes could be what we call a scrim or a cyclorama, which sometimes can create different lighting looks depending on how they light it from either the back or the front. But it allows lighting to kind of be a backdrop in many ways when they hit certain elements called a cyclorama or a black scrim.
Karine Holness is a Schubert Theatre board member, but importantly, she's the president of the Jamaica American Connection in New Haven, Connecticut. She's pulling out all the stops to get the diaspora support for the restoration project.
Your best memories from this space?
The best, being taught how to walk by Bert Rose when I went to St. Andrew High School. Yes. So yes.
So this is where you
live? Well, one of my classmates, her mom was one of the principal dancers. And so we had that relationship between St. Andrew High School and the Little Theatre. So the Little Theatre kind of have a little spot in my heart.
The Little Theatre Movement Foundation has an elaborate plan which also includes the renovation of the Garden Theatre, as well as the use of the space for a performing arts and training hub.
You drive into the Little Theatre, you feel like This is a world-class space. That is my vision. And if you know anything about me, I'm a dream chaser. And if I'm committed to something, it will be done.